The annual Renault Simola Hill Climb has become one of South Africa's premier motorsport events, attracting entries from all corners of the country. For spectators, it's a unique opportunity to savour some of the garden route's most beautiful scenery while enjoying the sights and sounds of high-performance machines being pushed to their limits. The hill climb attracts professionals and amateur racers competing in anything from bog-standard production models to highly modified street machines and even glamorous exotics. Everybody has exactly the same objective: to race up Simola Hill as quickly as possible. Hill climb organizer Ian Shrewsbury says the event is important to Knysna and its community.
The event's grown very nicely over the 4 years, and Renault supporting us once again is fantastic. It's allowed us to lift the event to another level once again. Last year we had 7,500 people here, and we're hoping for 10,000 this year. It's very important for the economy of Knysna, and that's what this event's all about. We started it with the purpose of bringing people to town because of the economy, and we need, in quiet periods, we need people to come to town.
While the field of 70-odd entries is divided into a number of classes, the big attraction is the King of the Hill contest, which sees the top 10 fastest cars competing in a sudden death shootout for overall honours. Last year, ex-racing driver turned motor dealer Wilhelm Bart was crowned King of the Hill after some spectacular performances at the wheel of his luminous green Nissan GTR.
The competition is hot, and everybody's got new toys and upgraded toys from last year.
Bart's GTR shed its bright colours for a rather more subdued silver, but there was nothing subdued about its performance. Another early favourite was 2010 King of the Hill winner Jeff Mortimer.
Well, I think you'll find this year that the times are going to be quicker than they were last year. Jade Goodscience, I believe, is in a 1,000 horsepower league. So that's quite a lot of horsepower to handle up a hill.
It sucks finishing second, so we almost try finish first and try win.
Goodsight's main rival for victory, however, would be his dad, Des, in an equally wicked Skyline GTR.
Unfortunately, they're a bit bigger than me, my sons now, and team orders used to be the signs at the times, but no more. I can see Jake, he doesn't want to let me win. He wants to win it, I want to win as well.
While it's easy to consider the hill climb as a social event, it can be treacherous, as several competitors found out this year. Unlike a racing circuit, the hill climb route offers no runoff areas, and if you get it wrong, the result is usually a trip back down to the pits on the back of a flatbed truck. The emergency medical services were always on full alert, but there weren't any injuries, if you ignore the dead and egos, that is. Even hotshots like race and rally ace Gugu Zulu can get it wrong sometimes. Classic Car Friday was one of the novelties of the 2012 Renault Hill Climb and attracted an impressive field of old-timers. Some of the classic sports cars showed a fair turn of speed up the hill despite the rainy, cold and windy conditions. We'll have a separate report on Classic Car Friday in next week's episode of RPM TV.
Renault South Africa not only sponsored the hill climb, but was also a major participant. The A1 class was dominated by a pack of current and previous generation Renault Megane RS hatchbacks, some entered by the ever-enthusiastic members of the Renault Sport Club. In addition, Renault chose to debut the all-new limited edition Megane RS Trophy at the hill climb. No less than 5 of these potent but street-legal 195 kilowatt super hatches competed in the event. Also racing in Renaults were 3 radio personalities invited to compete in a so-called DJ Challenge. Algoa FM's Lance du Plessis was up against DJ Ready D from Radio Good Hope, with Jacaranda FM's A-Rod the third protagonist. Du Plessis kept the local crowds happy with some quick times to set the early pace.
The Renault Simola Hill Climb runs over 2 days, with entrants initially participating in several practice rounds in order to familiarize themselves with the route and the track conditions. Each run is timed using a highly accurate transponder system. The 4 practice runs are followed by 7 qualifying runs, after which a class final determines the winners in each of the 15 classes. The classes allow similar vehicles to compete against each other rather than just having to contend for overall honours. However, there's no doubt that the King of the Hill title is the prize the top guns are after. From the outset, the top slots on the timing boards were dominated by the Nissan GTRs and the older Skyline GTRs. Variety is another hill climb highlight. Where else would you see a classic Formula Ford, a Ferrari 458 Italia and the mean Porsche GT3 racing up the same hill? At the sharp end of the field, Bart's global Nissan GTR was setting the fast times, but the good sites were up to the challenge.
We were running standard rubber up to now, but we are going to try slicks for the next run.
While Bart and his rivals were pondering tyre choices, Jeff Goddard was looking swift and smooth in the K-Eddy Group N BMW 325IS. It was only one of a bevy of unusual machines, ranging from Jacques Bouwer's rapid little Ford Escort to the fast and furious Honda Civic of Owen Bridger, sounding red hot with the Yamaha-powered Legends single-seaters. Paul Griffin's Alpha GTA looked the hill climb part, while the Honda-powered Atom Track Day Special was setting some impressive times. For Subaru fans, there was lots of eye candy, including this STI driven by Tyrone Davis. Willie Stunder's Opel Kadett looked handy, while the turbocharged Bantam Bucky of Peter Collings was a real crowd pleaser. Decked out in motorsport colours, the BMW 1 Series M Coupe looked the business and was pretty fast too. With the qualifying runs completed and local pilot Harry de Villiers entertaining the crowds, an uneasy lull reigned in the pits as the drivers and their teams pondered last-minute strategies. Defending champion Bart, however, had retired his GTR with a damaged gearbox, leaving the tussle for the top to the good sites. One of the draw cards at the hill climb was the all-new McLaren MP412C, driven here by Chad Wenzel. The supercar is still a rare sight in South Africa, but 2 examples entered the event. Porsche was another mark in attendance, with the Rob Scott 911 Turbo looking particularly menacing.
For sports car lovers, there was no shortage of attractions, including the Chev-powered Ultima, a Lotus Exige SC, a mean-looking Chev Corvette, and a beautiful Porsche 917 replica. The bright blue Jag XKRS was a real crowd pleaser, although it was outpaced by the McLaren. The Ferrari 458 Italia sounded better than the MP412C, but it was marginally slower, while the Lamborghini Gallardo added further glamour. Arguably one of the fastest Mercedes cars in South Africa is this DTM-style AMG sedan, driven by Thuka Mechanicos and said to be good for more than 500 kilowatts. With the class winners determined, all that remained was for the battle of the King of the Hill honours. The good sites looked like the team to beat, and the skylines of Jade and Des were looking dangerously close to the limit. Behind them, the more modern GTRs were squabbling too. Des Parton, sharing a car with Jackie Schechter, was on the ragged edge, while Quinsley Sale was another rapid GTR pilot. Schechter looked like the only real rival to the good sites, but was still some way off the pace of the 2 monster skylines.
It's a monster of a car, and so it gets used for special occasions only. So yeah, this is one of those occasions.
By now, the chase for the King of the Hill title had become very much a 2-horse race, with the added spice of the father-son rivalry. In the cool weather, the times continued to tumble, with the sub-42-second run now seemingly within reach.
We've come out in forces here, you know, Jade, my son, and Shane, my youngest son, and myself. We bought 3 strong cars here this year, and we knew that we had fierce competition, and as you can see from the results, for the whole of the day, the competition has been very fierce.
Last year, Willem was here, and it was a fight between myself and him and Jeff and my dad, but this year, unfortunately, Willem's car is broken, so yeah, it's the battle of the good sides, I suppose.
Getting off the mark cleanly is one of the keys to a fast hill climb time, and both Jade and Des had it down pat, slingshotting off the mark in an arresting display of raw power and traction. Only fractions of a second separating the 2, both father and son, who were at the ragged edge. Behind them, the battle of the GTRs was still raging unabated. Greg Parton was looking good, but couldn't do enough to stop a very rapid Darren Goodmans, also in a GTR. Scheckter was keeping the good sides honest, but just couldn't break through the 42-second barrier and had to settle for third. The battle went down to the wire, with Jade eventually a mere 100th of a second quicker than Des. It couldn't have been closer in the movies, and the crowds roared their approval. In the all-Renault A1 class, Cape Townian racer Dion Joubert piloted the new Megane RS trophy to a class victory, with trophies also occupying the next 3 slots. SA car fan scribe Scott Hayes was second, followed by Star Motoring's Jesse Adams. In the DJ Challenge, Algoa FM's Lance Duplessis kept his rivals at bay to set the fastest time, also in a Renault Megane RS.
These guys have put a lot of effort into it since last year. I think it signifies what the event's become. You know, the King of the Hill title is becoming sought after in South African motorsport, and the guys are putting a lot into their cars, a lot into their driving, and they really want it.
The good sides made it an all-family affair at the top of the board, with Jackie Scheckter the best of the chasing GTR pack. Former winner Mortimer finished in 8th, with local hero Mechanicos rounding off the top 10.